What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, cartoon53. Man, I'm sitting here with a very distinguished gentleman, which a lot of us always see on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? If you're familiar with his channel, I'm gonna let him tell you who he is, and you will know.
For those who don't know me, I am known as Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Postman. I'm a social commentator, influencer, and thought leader, and I appreciate being part of the foundation.
That's right, man. We gonna get straight into it. I ain't finna sugarcoat it. I ain't finna play with it. Now you gave the foundation who you are in the social media world. I want the foundation to know who you are or who you were coming up in the streets of Compton.
Coming up in the streets of Compton, I entered into the gang world in about 1972. I was 13 years old, right at the rightful age, because I believe that all of us got a part of or became gang members through middle school, or what we call middle school or junior high. That's where a lot of it really taking place. And one of those things that influenced me at that time was Stanley Tookie Williams, my homie Donald Duck Norwood, my homie Hercules, and my homie Robert Thomas Frog. Those were the four guys that was there at that time. And then, of course, once you get in there, you meet the other guys like Mac Thomas and Melvin Thomas and Lee Thomas and Landis Thomas, and then you start meeting the Big Rebos and the Red Dogs, the Bitter Dog Brunos, the Catnips, and the Barcelluses, and all the other guys that go along with this thing we know as Crippin'. But go ahead.
That's right. Now, one thing I'ma say, I used to call myself a gang historian until I started listening to you.
Okay.
My knowledge does not compare with yours. It does not go far enough back. When you started Crippin', homie, I hadn't even heard of it yet. You know what I'm saying? So, and over the years, listening to you on social media and, listen to the people that you name and the history that you give, I'm like, man, the homie knows something,
Of course.
So, let the foundation know what was the name of your section.
The name of my section originally was Oaks Park. It originally started with Oaks Park Businessmen, then the younger guys was considered Oaks Park Boys. So, and then across from us was Midtown, which was across the Rosecrans, which divided two different neighborhoods. There was Oaks Park and there was Midtown. So at some point, we decided to disregard those two names and come together and become what you guys now know as Santana Block. And we was the Navy SEALs of Crippin' and Compton. When I tell you that,
Block.
we were the Navy SEALs of Crippin' and Compton.
And you know what? From my wide time, from going to juvenile hall and going to YA, man, I've seen a lot of brothers come through from Santana Block. And coming up, you'd hear what people say. You could tell a lot about a set when they enemies talk about them a certain type way. And it was, man, coming up in that Compton area, that's all us in South Central. We all Santana Block this, Santana Block that, Santana Block this, whoop whoop wham. And so when I would meet brothers from Santana Block, I wouldn't say nothing, but I would look at them like, man, he from over there where they getting it in for real, So coming up, who was the main enemies to the Santana Blocks?
Well, due to the fact of our geographical location, we're centered on Rosecrans in between Santa Fe and Alameda, right? So if you go up past Alameda, you're gonna run into Mulberry, Treetop, Fruittown, Cedar Block, the West Side, Campanella Park, all the way up to 135, which ends right there at Avalon. If you come back down, you're gonna run into Elm. You're gonna run into Looters. What we know now is Mob. Now they separated because at one time it was just Looters, right? You got the Mob and you got the Cross Atlantics, you got the Lime Hoods. So we're centrally located in between all those hoods.
In the middle of all of them?
Yes, the only Crip neighborhood on Rosecrans. The only Crip neighborhood.
Oh man, and y'all withstood. Not only did y'all withstand the test of time, y'all flourished.
Yes, we had the bandwidth, man. We had the one sound, one band, and once we once we initiated that one sound, one band, and then the mantras, it was the mantras that we used that carries over. If we can't get it, it can't get got. Hard D and dynamite, all we don't F, we blow up. We go to the places where the people tell us not to go. So that was the driving force of what you guys know as Santana Block.
Right,
and that's real
right.
talk. And that goes from Turtle, Baby Gangster, Bad Harry Rabbit, that goes to the T-Bones, the Bay Robs, the Bullets, Ken Butter Tates, the Little Mans, and I can go on, the Big J-Dogs, I can go on and on with the names. There's Big Pep, just so many names.
Right,
and I can't
right.
even name, rest in peace, Big Raider, of course. Boo Boo, I can't leave him out. And Joe Rockhead, you guys know him as Joe Rockhead.
Joe Rockhead.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. You know, the disease that we had in South Central of Crips fighting Crips, it eventually spread out over into the Compton and Watts area too. What year would you say Santana Block started having beef with other Crip sets?
To actually put a date on it, it'll be a little difficult, but I would say it began to get lukewarm in the later part of 80s. The later part of 80s. Because we never even entered, because the first beef on and off beef or ongoing beef was the Palmer Blocks in South Side, which we later found out that Palmer Block had nothing to do with it. It was like, because we don't have the ability or the technology back then to reach out and touch, because a lot of this stuff started either from women or the lack of conversation.
Right, right.
A lot of it. And I'm not saying that that particular incident started from that. That particular incident started just misidentity. Somebody said this and said that. Because we all been in the situations, if a homeboy come back, man, I got jumped.
Right.
And we like, who? And he'll say, them dudes, and then come to find out it be one dude.
Right, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
we all
yeah,
had
man.
that.
Right,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So a lot of times we got to hold your homeboys and our homegirls accountable. When they make accusation or say something, make sure that you test them and question them thoroughly to make sure they're giving you accurate information.
Right, right. Because they'll come back and spin a tail on you.
Because they want you to be mad like they're mad.
Right, exactly. So eventually, your street endeavorments end up taking you into the incarceration endeavorment.
Yes, it did.
What happened with that?
But later on, because I didn't really have a whole lot of time that I could say I spent in prison.
Okay.
But I did. I mean, we got caught up in a 30 count indictment. Me, myself, Baby Gangster, my brother, my homie Pee Wee, my homie Don Juan, who's still serving a life sentence on it. Man, hopefully they overturn his case and he out. He come out too as well. But for the most part, I did go to state prison, and out of all places to send me, they sent me to Castle Greystone. Man, when I saw that place, I like, man, what the heck did I do to wind up to be here?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Folsom.
You didn't like how it looked, huh?
Didn't like how it looked.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. So how much time did you end up doing in Folsom?
Actually, I went to Folsom, and then they kept me over there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and they shot me straight to the ranch.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Disneyland.
So put it like this. When you was in Folsom, who was like some of the brothers that was on the tier with you that you was really rocking with?
Oh, well, some of the first brothers that approached me believe it or not, was a guy named Mousy Brown. Mousy Brown and another guy, he was from Dollar Bill. They both were BGS.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea. I mean, 415 or BG, Kumi.
Right.
I think Mousy Brown was Kumi and Dollar Bill was BGF.
Oh, okay.
And you know, and they was like on some brother time and just trying to share information and knowledge. They weren't trying to put me under any paperwork or nothing, but they was really showing brotherly love, you know, because I guess they recognized that Folsom had became a different spot.
Right.
And I wasn't gonna call it soft, but the tone and the sway of it had streaked down tremendously. You know. Okay.
So let me ask you this: how long you been out?
I've been out the feds now since 2010.
So when you finished state, you end up going back doing fed time.
Yes.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Was the feds a lot different from the state?
The feds were a lot different, man. The feds were, one thing about the feds, they prepare you for all the time you finna do, because before you even get there, They do what is a psych eval. They send you through a PSI, pre-sentencing investigation, and they look into your family background, and they look at what might mitigating circumstances, or you have some diminished capacity. So they want to make sure that you get the help that you might want to need.
Right.
And they have what is called suicide watch.
Oh yeah.
So they have individuals that that come in and watch you and make sure you ain't trying to harm yourself.
Right.
So, and then they have a psychology department, and they have all these different people that work in the psychology department to help you cope, so to speak, with whatever time. And they give you a nice soft pillow and a big thick mattress.
Something that we sure wasn't gonna get in the States.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man.
Okay.
I never been to the feds, but talking with a lot of my homies that been to the feds, a lot of the homies that are in the feds, a lot of homies that did a lot of fed time. We as Californians were indoctrinated to not like the brothers out of DC.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's a well-known thing in California that California and DC, Washington DC, do not get along, period. And I lost one of my little homeboys in the feds in a Cali DC ride. The homie, he got chipped. And can you enlighten me on that situation with them?
One of the things about the DC cats, they one and the same as LA. They just as grimy and just as scandalous. They do just this. It's like mirroring yourself when you see them.
Right.
You're gonna get. Well, what gives them the edge is that they don't have no state institutions, so their numbers are like way up compared to everybody else. They had what was called Lorton, and they closed Lorton. Once they closed Lorton, then any type of crime, whether it's traffic light or whatever, or any type of conviction, whether it's misdemeanor or felony, you're coming into a federal
to the feds.
Yes.
So they was deep.
They were deep.
And in your opinion, did they like or dislike us?
They didn't dislike us, but they had their way, their style. They talk like, "Hey Joe, hey Shorty, gonna jive like." So sometimes when you hear that talk, you might make a comment about it, or you might, like crack on it, and they didn't take too kindly to that. And the same thing when they hear us talk, if they said something, man, why them dudes over there? They always cook, man, forget Shorty over there, man. Them jive, they jive, and So again, you offended by that, right? So that right there can cause the escalation of creating problems amongst brothers.
I heard they knew and didn't like when we used the word homie.
They probably didn't.
Yeah, I heard
because they
knew
Joe.
For a fact they knew.
They used the Joe and Shorty.
Okay.
Yeah, that's their words.
All right.
And then they had a tendency. A lot of them had a tendency to be bandits as well.
That's their world, yeah. That's what I heard.
That's what they were.
That's the world they live in.
Over there.
And it was kind of like acceptable to them.
Right.
They didn't frown upon.
But that's not all of them. I'm telling you, there was some good dudes from DC, but the grimy ones, they were grimy just like the LA cats.
Right.
That's grimy. They super grimy.
Right.
Nothing you can do about that.
That I kind of see that as, no matter what state you from, no matter where you from, man, black folks gonna be black folks.
Black folks
you
gonna
know
be
what I'm
black
saying?
folks.
That's what's up, man. So, between the state and the feds, which one's security was more tighter?
That's hard to say, because the feds is run differently. Because the feds have metal detectors going in and going. Whether you return in the yard or going out the yard, they have metal detectors going both ways.
Right.
So they do that. I mean, which is not, people can beat those things, but it's just they automatically set up for that type of stuff. And then it's the federal government, so they have an extensive budget. So whatever they need to keep things calm or keep things in a perspective to where it makes them, they have what is called the deuces. When they hit the deuces, man, they come running.
Oh, they coming.
They coming.
Right.
They hit the deuces. But there was also how I wound up in Terminal Island, actually. When I got there, it was a medium high, then it eventually was turned to a low. Well, what happened, they had a melee there, a riot. so to speak, and you would have been proud of that moment, as you said in the
yeah.
the brothers.
Our people showed
the
up
brothers
and showed
whooped
out.
their feet.
Right.
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I wanted them, because they cleared a lot of brothers out, and so they took me straight from MDCLA basically to Terminal Island, which is unheard of.
So how long have you been out now?
I believe it's about 14 years.
Ooh-wee, that's a blessing.
Yes.
That's a blessing. So man, what type? I mean, in the last 14 years that you've been on the streets, you know what I'm saying? What has life been like for you?
Life has been I've had a real quality life, because let me say this: when you in the drug game, you make a lot of money, and you do a lot of things. You meet a lot of girls and all that, but it's short-lived. Short-lived. But this life that I got now, that where I'm working and earning legally, is great and it's fantastic, and I no longer have to watch and be looking out for certain elements that I think that's going to be not conducive to my growing or being. But I tell you, when I got out here, right, I'm in Lancaster, right, the probation officer, because they don't have parole, they have probation officer. He said, listen, man, I read your jacket. He said, man, if the drug sales go up and people start falling and things start getting chaotic in my city, I'm gonna have to hold you accountable for that, because it's been nice up until you got here.
Right.
So I looked at him, I said, man, I don't know what you read in that report and really don't care, man, but if you think I'm the same person from 10 years ago, in a 10-year span of time, I haven't had the actual time to change, then something is wrong with you.
That's right.
You know.
So he, after so many years went by, he finally realized, okay, I ain't gotta keep the press on him.
No.
All right. So now how has social media changed your life?
Social media has actually opened my mind to a lot of different things, and because people are so closed-minded, there's a lot of people in my age group, man, I don't do that internet stuff, or but my banking, my finances, my car loans, and everything that I engage in has to come through not necessarily social media, but through the internet.
Right.
So the internet, even all my credit history and everything I do, Cash App, Zelle, everything is done
Chime
with this thing right here.
Right, man. Right.
Everything. So I'm here for it. I want to learn as much as possible and even more, because now you got this thing where you got these different study groups where they actually targeting groups of people to be a part of the social media. So they're not wasting time with people who don't watch. They specifically look at, what are you watching? What kind of J's you like wearing? What kind of hats you like wearing? What kind of shirts? And when they see that, but depending on your social media, they will target that element and bring them to you.
Right.
Because they may not, let's put it this way, Cartoon. The internet is crowded now. It's oversaturated. There's many people on, and there's a lot of people that own it don't realize that they're not content creators. They're just mess starters. They're not content creators, because content creator, even if you take the word content, Cartoon, is happiness. Look it up. It means happiness.
Okay.
It doesn't mean mess or disturbances or creating certain situations where people are going to get involved into back and forth. It's not about that.
You just really kind of caught me with something. Hold on. Are those the same words?
Yes.
Content and content. Now, okay. Now, I know we use the word content for what we do on social media.
True.
When we always, content is king,
Right.
What's coming in. But now you put it in the term of content, like contentment, like I'm.
Yes.
So those are the same.
Those
two
are
words.
the same, spelled the same, but two different meanings.
Two different meanings. Okay.
But most of the English language has various meanings.
It does that. Yes, it does.
So you have to understand that when you get down to the root word and you understand the etymology of the word, then you can better understand why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because the original intent is for happiness.
Right.
So creating content means you write something, you make something anew, you bring something aboard that people can share.
Yeah.
And not take from you and take from me and take from him and take from him and then put their name on it and say, this is my content.
Right.
No,
right.
that's not content, bro. That's theft.
That's real. That's real. Let me ask you this. Now, I'm finna go into something, man, that's real touchy for a lot of people. How old are you?
I'm 65.
You 65. You 5 years. I'm 60. You 5 years older than me. So you come from back in the day before my day. Were you around during the NWA era?
Yes.
You was on the streets.
Yes.
I'm finna ask you a question now. Don't be offended by this. I want you to give it to me in a row.
Okay.
It's hard to ask a person from Compton this question because the people in Compton, they already had a certain mindset on Compton. Whereas us in South Central and Watts in different areas, we looked at it as something different. Now, coming up during the 70s and early 80s, I come from the era when you told a person, man, where you from, homie? I'm from Compton. Especially if they was off the west side. They looked at it as, oh, you off the east side. Mm-hmm. They didn't look at it as you from Hub City or from Compton. Mm-hmm. They looked at it as you from the east side of LA.
Okay.
And it was like that for many, many years. Then to me, I noticed when NWA started really, really pumping, it gave Compton a confidence boost to where it seemed like that's when it started, the separation. Like, no, man, we are Compton. This is us. Can you enlighten me on that one?
Well, what it did is gave them a sense of pride.
There you go.
It gave them pride to now we have something that we can hold as substantive, that we believe is substantive, that we can use as our own. We own this. This is Compton. It don't belong to nobody else.
Right.
This is my toy, and if I choose to take it back, I'm taking it back. You can't have it.
Right.
You go create your own toy.
Right.
So that's what it is. But me being a free thinker, and me being a person that understands these things and look at the things in terms of what you're asking, I can honestly say that it's a lot of people wouldn't say it like I would say it. They would probably get into a back and forth about it. But no, at the end of the day, of course, Compton, Watts, Carson, those are all the separate states. But at the overall, it's still LA. So what started all this stuff, if you really want to think about it, the name South Central doesn't really exist.
It's true. True.
That is a media created thing.
Right.
So, but if you go right there by Centennial High, and you look on that sign right there, and it's right there street, guess what it's gonna say?
What?
South Central.
Oh. Okay.
Because
right.
that's south of Central.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't take my word for it. Go look.
Yeah.
Right there by Centennial
Go check it out.
High,
Yeah.
The sign right there, right there on Central and El Segundo. If you look at the sign, it says South Central. Just a regular green street sign. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I'm just explaining it because the term South Central was created by the media. The media has never been kind to it. The media is weaponized. The police is weaponized. The CDC is weaponized. Security guards, everybody is weaponized against you and I.
Right. I know, because in this day and age, you got a lot of homies from Compton. It seemed like they chomping at the bit to separate themselves from LA now. It's like, it's in social media and everything, in music and everything. It's like they going out their way to let people know we are not LA, we are Compton. Whereas me, growing up there all my life, to me, Compton, Watts, and South Central, all the same thing to me. It is. Even though I know they do have their own perspective names, to me, all that's LA.
One of the main tools of COINTELPRO is conquer and divide. So some of the most minuscule things they can use, like color, the bandana originally started, the blue and the red, right? When they came out, they were 25 cents a piece. How many people have lost their lives behind 25 cents?
Behind a quarter.
Behind a quarter. See how minuscule that is? But when you put it in terms like that, people get offended. They don't want to hear that. They want to keep that same mindset and that ideology that they grew up with, that they deem is good for them, and the heck with everybody else. But you're right. It's just, people get confused. It's mental confusion, actually.
Right. All right, let's do it like this. Give my foundation some parting words of wisdom.
Parting words of wisdom. Take this, guys. There are many things in life, right? But there's also what we call boomerangs. And the boomerangs, no matter what, will come back with astounding accuracy based on your actions, your deeds, and your words. So be upstanding, be upright. Let your entry be out of the gate in truth and honor. Always let your exit be by the gate in truth and honor. And let your God grant you an authority to aid you in a time of need. Be careful. Always increase in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Purify your mind and purify your heart. History is just medicine for sick minds. So within history, there's a variety of human experiences we can teach and learn from. We got to edify. We got to educate. We got to continue to grow because America created niggas. You can't be black and proud, say I'm black and I'm proud, and be a nigga too. Those two don't go together.
Right. That's why I don't use the word, homie.
Yep.
With that foundation, I'm finna. Oh, look, there goes a squirrel. Oh,
Man,
my
they've been
bad.
chasing each other the whole time.
I missed it. But anyway, with that foundation, man, we finna close it out, man. It been me, cartoon53, with the big homie, man, Professor Melly Mel out of Compton. Y'all know what I tell you all the time, man. Stay safe. Tell the people that you love them, and keep your head on the swivel, man. And at all costs, stay above ground, man. And y'all know me, what I represent, the gangsters.
The gangsters.
And I'm
Shout
out.
out to the fire trades, man. I love them cats, man. I hang out in South Park.
He
y'all.
do, y'all. He do. We out here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Gangsta boogie, gangsta boogie, gangsta boogie, gangsta boogie. Ain't nobody gangsta boogie. 4, 2, 1, man. 4, 2, 1, man. Look at it.